1,000-bedroom, rent-by-the-bedroom apartment complexes are neighborhood compatible, being placed right across the street from quiet, well-established single-family neighborhoods?
In that particular situation, yes, it works.
Quiet, well-established single-family neighborhoods?
In that particular situation, yes, it works.
Is there?
I don't know what particular situation he's talking about, so I'll just refer to them in general. They're incompatible, and anyone who lives next to one or knows someone who lives next to one knows that they're incompatible. It doesn't matter if you get the parking stickers or what you do, they're still very noisy. They finally put one in next to me after years of me going and speaking against these developments back, I believe it was last August when they put capstone cottages in. And my neighbors they have small children. We have about 7 or 8 children under the age of probably 8 years old.
Straight out of Redbud Roasters via Austin, Texas. I had a clean bill of health on my teeth last Tuesday, and to the week I got a chip lodged in a impacted wisdom tooth, which resulted in me in drooling and not being able to swallow. They had me scheduled for oral surgery, and this booch I found out from Courtney Cranberry. One time we were waiting in an executive session for the dais to get out of their business, probably talking about Greater San Marcos Partnership contracts, and she wanted to put some kombucha in her ear for ear infection. I thought, I refused the antibiotics because I haven't had them, I don't know, since a teenager, 13 years old. So I said, let me use some booch and some of this stuff. And guess what? I couldn't swallow nor talk on Tuesday. And look at me now, peeps. Okay, let's start out our report. It's the night vision report. San Marcos, the election's getting hot. We're going to cover the unethical coverage by the news press, as well as completely irresponsible use of Twitter by either the Arredondo campaign or the Scott campaign, Shane Scott. And we're going to figure that out pretty soon, people, because y'all have started a social media problemo for your campaigns. They're all falsehoods, and you're misleading the public, and you haven't been a true steward of our community. Ticker tape parade. Ooh, this is good cardstock, y'all. Oh, he's got some money.
I got my high heels on. I got my high heels on. I got my high heels on. I got my high heels on.
San Marcos. I love San Marcos because I ran into Elena Duran. We're both getting our tires checked. I'm a girl and I don't know how to check my tires. But check out what they're putting on the Twitter. You see it? They're making a faux account. And it says, Scott Gregson, can you read it? I can't.
How many drugs do some of my supporters actually do? Hashtag SMTX. I don't need Xanax in my water at LMC4 San Marcos. Yes, honey, you do, more than folks.
Okay, let me turn it on and I'll refocus. Hold on. Okay, now it looks like it's focusing. Wow, that's amazing. So someone's created a faux Twitter account and they're slandering people and they're using Mr. Gregson as the target.
People are desperate.
Wow, unbelievable. Thank you. You guys, these guys are cool at Discount Tires. They have so much fun while they're working. They're jocular and laughing. My car's in the bay. I want to give a big shout out to Discount. I know they're a chain and I don't usually support chains, but the guys here, they're awesome. They just treat you with respect. They found 3 bump tires and I just love their work ethic. You're in my tire. Will you show me where it is?
Right there.
Oh my Lord. Good job, young man. Are you going to be able to fix that for me?
Yeah, we can fix it. We're going to have to get you a line and get you a...
Oh, no.
But it is a repairable area, so it looks like you should be able to get through.
Oh, God. Praise God. You look at that. Show me now. We found something else. What's this?
There's cords right here on the sidewall.
Oh, no.
So we'd have to replace the tire. It would be no good.
So I can't drive to Belton on this, something like this, then that would be insane.
No, that would be dangerous.
That would be dangerous. All right. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Yes, ma'am.
What's this?
You got another crack right here on the sidewall.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, I'm so glad that signal light came on.
Yeah.
Good job, young man. Thank you. That's 3 out of 4. I'm afraid to see what happens with number 4. Y'all, I might as well make use of my time You know I'm in month 5 of not watching any national news nor any TV series, so I'm making all these videos for San Marcos. And I haven't had cable since 2008. So I want to break down some things that are going on right now in San Marcos to infuse into my front porch night vision report tonight. And that's some of the misinformation that's going on. But if you look behind me, you can see all these chains. You don't see ma and pa businesses now, do you? And those are the kind of businesses that Frank T. Arredondo, I promised Mr. Arredondo I would not call him Frankie because he gave me a shout out respect on Twitter, and I appreciate that, sir. So Mr. Arredondo, who is a Greater San Marcos Partnership hack. There he is, the Greater Partner San Marcos hack. There's the second one, a sneak attack. That's why I put the war paint on.
I'm the first.
You're the first. He's unabashedly the first supporter, y'all.
That's right. Number 1.
That's right. Y'all, this is going better than I thought it would.
That's right. If you're going to be called something, be the best at it.
All right. That's right, whether it's Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker. These are the kind of businesses they want to bring. The jobs that come with these businesses, y'all, those are retail jobs without benefits, and they're not high paying. And they're not cool small businesses that are cool San Martian spirit and the vibe of our town and people who want our town to grow. And the thing that's most troubling to me, y'all, about that is that's the look and the vibe of San Marcos. You haven't heard word one from either Mr. Arredondo or Mr. Scott about revitalization of the downtown. In fact, they haven't even been concerned about the flooding that the businesses have experienced as a result of that road construction, nor have they even discussed all the loss of revenue as a result of all the road construction, nor have they been concerned about the lack of ADA parking, the 15-minute parking, which we should have versus 2-hour parking, because the students, of which they want to bring more and more. You know, y'all, when I went to school in this town, we had something called admission standards. We didn't let every Tom, Dick, and Harry in. And I think maybe it's time that we raise our standards in higher ed, Texas State, where we don't let every Tom, Dick, and Harry in. You know, the other thing, back when I went to school, they could give a riddly-diddly-do about if we had housing. We found it. We were scrappy, and we found our houses. We weren't looking for upscale houses. In fact, we all enjoyed living in the historic district, and many of us have now decided to live here.
The audience, Rice, this is a question for Mr. Scott. Do you really believe that 1,000 bedroom, rent by the bedroom apartment complexes are neighborhood compatible, being placed right across the street from quiet, well-established single-family neighborhoods?
In that particular situation, yes, it works.
Ms. Derrick?
I don't know what particular situation he's talking about, so I'll just refer to them in general. They're incompatible, and anyone who lives next to one or knows someone who lives next to one knows that they're incompatible. It doesn't matter if you get the parking stickers or what you do, they're still very noisy. They finally put one in next to me after years of me going and speaking against these developments back, I believe it was last August when they put capstone cottages in. And my neighbors they have small children. We have about 7 or 8 children under the age of probably 8 years old on my street. Their kids can't sleep at night. They're calling the police constantly. They feel like they can't hang out in their backyard because of the profanity and just the loud parties going out at the pool. And it really deteriorates your quality of life. And we're homeowners. That's our biggest investment that we ever make. You know, a lot of us are hoping that we get to retire the equity of our home, and we won't be able to if our lives and our homes have been deteriorated to the point they're not worth anything.
You know, it's unfortunate that our town now is being ripped apart by a university that, in a lust for upscale student housing, creating literally the best of times and the worst of times scenario, ergo Capes Camp, where you build a berm right by a neighborhood and flood them out because you want upscale student housing in an archaeologically and ecologically sensitive area. Now, the other thing I want to cover is this bunk that the University Star wrote an article saying that Melissa Derrick wants to charge people $10 to go to the river, when in fact she was reporting out on the park's discussion that they wanted to charge tourists. This was not her advocacy. That's all on tape with the reporter tape. Has the reporter checked their tape and printed a correction? No. So instead now we have a misinformation story that's being tweeted, and they're accusing Melissa Derrick and Scott Gregson of wanting to charge rivergoers. That's the biggest bunk lie I've ever heard. Actually, the biggest bunk lie is when Ryan Thomason accused me of accusing him of putting cement in the river, because I'm much more witty than that, Ryan. And we can look at the debate footage to see how lackey wit you have. Okay, y'all, the other issue I want to talk about is the San Marcos Corridor News. Who is running this rag? Look what... I've been wondering when they were going to do this, y'all. Look, y'all. They're taking the trash out with the trash. This is the city recycling program. Hello, sir. I attended the first recycling discussion back in the 80s, and there was discussion. They wanted to give the recycling to the special needs folks here in town, but they ended up giving it to a large corporation. So anyway, I guess now we're now to the point in our society where we want people to recycle, but we're going to give them smaller containers. We pay more and we get less. It's the city. It's the fat cat approach. So we can squeeze out all the little mice and give ourselves some expensive cheese. Oh, I can't roll up like that because it just... You don't like my decorations in my house? Here's a long shot of the set. So you get the full picture. You have to move this. I can't park in my own driveway. Way City, I know y'all had to cancel Shred Day, or at least that was the word on the street, because the shred truck didn't show up. So I've been keeping that one under wraps. But look, we get instructions and a booklet and everything. My shiny new trash can. This is awesome. Let's look and see what's inside. Is Shane Scott in there? No. I don't think all the hot air from Mr. Arredondo would fit in here, or his Twitter account people. Look, y'all, all the trash. I want to start off first this reconstruction of the use of the press with the University Star. It is unbelievable to me that a university paper would have 3 different edits to campaign coverage on a local election. How many articles has the University Star done 3 corrections, of which first they accuse a candidate of being pro-gentrification? If anybody in this community, excuse me, the allergies are bad. If anybody in this community is anti-gentrification, it would be Melissa Derrick. If anybody in this community allows gentrification to occur, it would be most definitely Shane Scott and most definitely Mr. Arredondo. And we'll deconstruct that as these blogs continue. So the Star literally accused a candidate of being pro-gentrification. Do these students use Wikipedia, the most unreliable of sources, to find out what gentrification is and how illogical it would be for any candidate ever in the history of the universe to even be pro-gentrification? So then that was deleted, and then they don't seem to understand that Melissa Derrick was explaining to them about the notion of a parking workflow fee for tourists that the city was proposing. She was reporting out her hard work as a citizen, y'all. She shows up to these things and then she tells y'all about them when she's on her campaign trail, and then they try to turn, well, they did. They turned it around, y'all, and they said she wants to charge everybody $10 to go into the river. Now let's think about this. What happens now is the Arredondo campaign and the Scott campaign are now tweeting all of this as if it's truth. So it makes me wonder if there's collusion between the reporters and these campaigns, because I remember in my race against Mr. Jones, for the first time ever in the history of the universe, the University Star was literally parked outside of the LBJ Student Center, of which is where the voting box is, and inside was a full spread of Chris Jones with a color insert of him with Patrick Rose. And the article that they were supposed to publish that I sent a response to, of which, you know, they send you something, you respond to it, they decided not to run it, y'all, because Mr. Jones did not want to take the time to do it. Now, Chris and I are friends now, But I'm sorry, y'all have a long track record of misquoting people. I remember one time they said that I said that Ryan Thomason said that I said that I said he was going to put concrete in the river or something. I think I already told you guys this story. That was the Star, y'all. They'll just make up anything literally. And I've got if you just Google the Star on my blog, you will see countless examples of irresponsible journalism. Now let's go to the next point.
My question is, at the City Hall citizen comment period after the historic May flood, there was a deluge of citizens who came to speak. My recollection is you were not there to speak for Blanco Gardens, sir, but you were there to speak for Funny for Greater Partnership San Marcos. How do you explain that behavior?
Now, I think that the people that were affected directly had the first right to go and complain to the city council and make their concerns known. I know when to step aside and let others speak.
And I'm going to pull up this article. I've just skimmed it because I've had a very, very busy day. And let me just quickly pull it up. I haven't read it. I quickly read it. And it's from the San Marcos Corridor News. Who is running this outfit? Is this in San Marcos faux blog? Because here's the quote: the city of San Marcos pays Amazon to move in. Question mark. And then here's what they say. Listen to this. Misleading the public, city council member wannabe Melissa Derrick, sign from the universe, current candidate place 6 in parentheses, attempted to forward her campaign through all of the context remarks against 5-year veteran city council member Shane Scott. Okay, this is the most idiotic piece of journalism I have ever read. Who calls a challenger a wannabe? I'll tell you who, a wannabe reporter, because this reporter did not put their name to this article. And at the bottom of this article is, to me, an encryptic little Dirty 30 Greater San Marcos Partnership. The time is now in San Marcos. In San Marcos. I know who you guys are. Y'all are all the funders of the Scott campaign, of the Arredondo campaign, and you probably had one of your Greater Partnership San Marcos hacks write this up and publish this on your faux blog. So public, this is all a bunch of bunk. Anybody who calls a challenger a wannabe is a wannabe reporter. That was disrespectful, and I want to tell who a wannabe is. The real wannabe is Shane Scott. Shane Scott, public, had never showed up to any public hearing ever before he ran for city council. I was his campaign manager. I coached him through the debates. He called me up crying like a baby. He wanted to drop out against Rodney Van Overkerk, and I told him to pull it together. Literally crying like a baby, people. So he ain't nothing when it comes to experience, and all he's done, and I've requested from the city of San Marcos, and this has been going on now for a couple of weeks. Let me pull up my email account, my Yahoo account, because let me tell you, people, I sent in a very simple open records request. For all I wanted were 2 figures. I wanted 2 simple figures. Figure 1, what is the total dollar amount of his travel since he's been elected? Figure number 2 is how much money has he been paid on the dais? And I want you to understand how long I've been waiting for this. My last piece of correspondence was on October 26th, where I'm responding. Was it October 26th? Hold on. Yeah, okay. So to the cool Elizabeth Trevino, who does all the open record requests for the city, I'm following up on October 23rd, saying my request was for the grand total of A, travel, and B, payment. All I need are 2 numbers. What they have tried to do is send me a bunch of attachments of random things, of which I've already seen the last time he ran, because I requested specific data that took forever. And the funny part about it is, one of those pieces of correspondence, Shane Scott says he puts a piece of travel record information, excuse me, on a city staffer's desk, and it got lost. And so he types up a memo, please accept this as my receipts. Now, my original, so keep in mind, the last time I sent an email was, I appreciate it so much, you rock, to Ms. Trevino, because she was following, because she was out, was October 26th. I've received nothing from the city. My original piece of correspondence was on Wednesday, October 7th at 11:03 p.m. This is an open records request for the total total amount for Mr. Scott has spent in travel funds since elected to office to the most current data on file as of now with notations of any pending expenditures with his travel funding. The second item is the total amount he has paid for his salary on the dais. We are in election cycle. Any expedite would be appreciated. After all, the data should be ready. It's election season. And y'all, I haven't received this. Why does the city not have a spreadsheet where they have year by year of how much he got paid and how much he spent in his travel? I'm not understanding how I can make an open record request on the. I'm not understanding, people, how I can make an open records request on Wednesday, October 7th, and we'll just say October 8th the clock begins because it was late, right? No one was at their seat at the city hall. And I'm still waiting as of October 26th. Now let me look at my inbox and see, perhaps they sent something. No, nothing's been sent from the city of San Marcos about Shane Scott's travel records. So we're in the middle of election season. We have no idea how much Shane Scott has been paid on the die since he was elected. Should be very simple data. We have no idea about his travel funding. And then on top of that, we're past the 10-day mark of state law. And in addition to that, there are lies being fueled by newspapers and online Twitter stuff.